It took 5 months to build my first SaaS. And if I choose to build my next SaaS, it will take 1 week max. And why I am confident in that? Because I have mastered these 3 pillars to build your own SaaS. What exactly are those 3 pillars? But before going to that, I want to tell you that you need to understand that you need only one language to do that, and that is TypeScript. Because TypeScript is the modern language which is adopted by many developer community, and it comes with lot of SDKs and lot of library support. So any AI library, any AI company today building documentation for developer, they are building it for Python and TypeScript as well as the first priority, and you should take the advantage. I tried to use Golang, but there was no use. So when you have decided to use TypeScript for your single source of language, you need to worry about the framework. There are many advisors who are telling you to wipe code and use Supabase or maybe Convex or maybe any backend as a service like Firebase, AppWrite to use for your next own SaaS. And I differ with them. I have a strong opinion that you shouldn't choose that, and you should choose one repo and one framework, and that is Next.js, to write your all front-end code and write your all back-end code. Because as I told you, TypeScript provides you great SDKs, great UI libraries like ShatCN, and great packages in NPM or PNPM like that. You can use that in Next.js itself. So if I choose Next.js for my authentication, I will choose BetterAuth SDK. If I want to integrate payments, I will use BetterAuth plugin for Polar, so that I don't need to listen to any webhooks. I don't need to listen to any database implementation around that payment gateway. BetterAuth handles everything for me on itself. So for that, I will use authentication payments. I will use BetterAuth and Polar. After that, when it comes to database migration and database implementation, I will use ORM like Drizzle and Prisma, so that I need to write the schema in TypeScript and it will be auto converted into custom SQL through Drizzle and Prisma DB. And when it comes to AI SDK, I will use the AI SDK provided by the Vercel team itself. They are working a lot. They have provided a lot of tools. So if you're planning to use n8n, I am suggesting you don't use n8n or Make or Zapier. Use AI SDK to build your next AI SaaS. In the future videos, maybe I will cover that. But if you don't use AI SDK, don't worry, but payment gateway and database implementation is sorted through Next.js. After you have mastered the Next.js, you can host it in a platform like Vercel or Railway. I will suggest Vercel. After you have hosted everything, now what exactly do you need? You need to choose your right database. And with database, there are a lot of things you need to store in database. It can be custom SQL, not custom SQL, like custom rows and column, like every column is defined earlier, or their columns are not defined. Like someone may be saying, I want to use MongoDB because I don't need to choose columns. For that, you can use JSON items, and you can store JSON items in Postgres database because it supports it through JSONB. And if you want to store embeddings, you can again store it in Postgres database. So my opinion is that use Postgres for your database as your smart database choice. So you don't need to master any other database, you can use Postgres. And Postgres you can host it as a serverless database through Supabase, through Railway or NeonDB or any other tool. So you don't need to rely on backend as a service. You can host your own database. And if you want to store files, you can use S3, and for S3 I will suggest you to use Cloudflare R2. After you have chosen your framework, after you have chosen your database, now you must be thinking, what exactly am I missing? You are missing about your distribution or your marketing. Nowadays, there will be a lot of competition on LinkedIn, on Threads, on YouTube and everything like that, because those are social media platform. And for example, I signed up in your SaaS, but I didn't purchase any application, I didn't purchase any plan, and you have understand my persona and you want to send a particular 7-day email to me. How will I do it? How will you do it? Will you run email campaign, but that email campaign will go to other customers also, but you want to send email to me, personalized to me. For that you can set up triggers, and that triggers will send a 7-day email to me that is predefined and pre-written by you in the earlier stages. And that is possible through use Splunk, because it's an open source tool. It is very cheap to use and it is very performant to use because it is open source. You can self-host it in your own Amazon SES. After you have used use Splunk, you don't need to worry about the cost, because for first 3000 emails are free. After that you need to use pay per use model, and that is $0.01 for per email. So for example, if you send 1000 email, it will cost you $1, and 10,000 email for $10. So it is cheaper than any marketing automation and marketing tool out there in the market, and you can self-host it if you want to optimize more cost. After you have implemented these three things, you have understood that you can implement your next SaaS in 1 week. But if I say you can implement it in days, maybe day or two, and that's where the benefit of Cursor IDE comes in. Why Cursor? Because Cursor is evolving a lot, and Cursor is really great, and it is great when it comes to cost. It only costs you $0.04 per request after you have exhausted your fast request. And if you want to go for slow request, you can go for it, or otherwise you can use $0.04 per request. And it has 128 or 120k context limit, which is very beneficial. If you use token usage, it will cost you more. So yeah, that's where Cursor helps you in reducing the cost. And Cursor knows everything about the TypeScript, because it is trained majority code which is available on the internet, and TypeScript is one of the majority code which is available on the internet. And Cursor knows everything about TypeScript. You know everything about TypeScript. I know everything about TypeScript. The documentation knows everything about TypeScript. So you can just fetch the documentation, you can feed it to Cursor, and Cursor will take care of itself, and it can implement your custom instructions, your custom needs in your SaaS, in your Next.js framework, because it is known to provide good code. After you have mastered Cursor, after you have mastered how to use email, you are ready to go for your distribution. Because with Cursor and with email automation, you can focus on distribution from day one itself. And to conclude this video, the point is very simple. For framework, use Next.js. For email, use Splunk. For database, use Postgres. And for AI IDE, use Cursor. And if you want more videos like this, then follow along and suggest me what I should make next. And once you are done with this, you should master prompts. And if you master prompts, I guarantee you that it will not take you a week, it will take you days to build. And if you're really good with prompting, maybe it can take you hours to build your next SaaS. So see you with your next SaaS and on the other video. Bye.